The man who walked into the building looked like he had come from another world. His long white robe was slightly wrinkled from travel, his beard neatly trimmed, and his eyes calm yet tired. In his hand he carried a simple leather bag that looked far too small for someone who had just stepped out of a black luxury car waiting outside. But no one at the reception desk cared to notice any of that. They only saw a foreign man who spoke broken English. And within seconds, the entire lobby began to fill with quiet laughter. Before we begin this emotional story, take a moment to like the video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes in kindness, and subscribe to the channel if you believe that small acts of humanity can change lives forever. Because sometimes, the most powerful moments come from the people no one notices. It was a busy afternoon inside the tall glass tower of Albright Global Holdings. The marble floors reflected the bright lights above, and employees rushed back and forth carrying files, phones pressed to their ears. Behind the polished reception desk sat 3 young employees dressed sharply in corporate uniforms. They were used to dealing with executives, investors, and wealthy clients every day. So when the Arab man approached the desk slowly, they barely looked up. He placed his small bag beside him and spoke gently, trying to pronounce the words carefully. He explained that he had come for an important meeting with the company's board chairman. But his accent was thick, his English uneven, and the receptionist misunderstood almost every sentence. The young woman behind the desk frowned impatiently. She asked him to repeat himself twice. Then 3 times. The man tried again, politely. But the receptionist sighed loudly, rolling her eyes toward her coworkers. One of them leaned over and whispered something that made the others chuckle quietly. The foreign man noticed the laughter. But he didn't react. Instead, he simply stood there calmly, waiting. Minutes passed. The receptionist finally told him that without proper appointment confirmation, he would need to leave the lobby and contact the office later. The man tried once more to explain. He opened his leather bag and searched for a paper with the meeting details. But the receptionist had already lost patience. Security was quietly signaled. 2 guards began walking slowly toward the reception area. And at that moment, the entire situation might have ended right there, if it weren't for the quietest person in the building. At the far corner of the lobby, pushing a small cleaning cart, was an older woman wearing a simple gray uniform. Her name was Maria. She had worked in the building for 8 years. Every morning before sunrise, she arrived to clean the floors, empty trash bins, and polish the glass doors that executives walked through without ever noticing her. But Maria noticed everyone. She noticed the tired faces, the stressed voices, the small details others ignored. And right now, she noticed something different about the Arab man standing at the desk. Not his clothes, not his accent, his patience, his calmness, and the quiet dignity in his eyes while others laughed. Maria slowly pushed her cart closer. The guards had nearly reached the reception desk. The man was about to pick up his bag and leave. And that was when Maria gently spoke. She didn't interrupt loudly. She simply walked up beside him and, in a soft voice, asked if he would like a cup of tea while he waited. The entire reception area went silent. The receptionist stared at her with confusion. No one had asked the man if he needed anything. But Maria had. The Arab man looked surprised for a moment. Then a warm smile appeared on his face. He nodded, gratefully. Maria walked to the small employee break room and returned a few minutes later with a simple cup of hot tea. Nothing fancy. Just a basic cup with a tea bag and steam rising gently from the surface. She handed it to him carefully. The man held the cup with both hands as if it were something valuable. For the first time since entering the building, someone had treated him like a guest. They stood quietly for a moment near the reception desk. Then Maria asked him softly where he had come from. The man explained that he had traveled from Dubai after a long flight. He was here for a meeting that had taken months to arrange. Maria listened carefully. Then she asked a simple question. The kind of question the reception desk never asked. What is your name? The man smiled. His voice was calm when he answered. His name was Sheikh Khalid Al Rahman. Maria nodded politely, though the name meant little to her. But across the reception desk, the youngest receptionist suddenly froze. Because that name sounded familiar. Very familiar. Her fingers quickly began typing on the computer in front of her. Within seconds, the color drained from her face. Her coworker leaned over. Then the second receptionist went pale too. The man standing calmly beside Maria wasn't just another visitor. He was the primary investor behind a massive international project the company had been negotiating for months. A project worth over $2 billion. And he had specifically requested to visit the office personally before signing the final agreement. The room suddenly felt smaller. The guards stopped walking. The receptionists looked at each other in panic. The same man they had laughed at, the same man they were about to escort out of the building, was one of the most powerful investors in the entire deal. But Sheikh Khalid seemed completely unconcerned. He simply sipped the tea Maria had given him. Slowly, calmly, as if none of the chaos around him mattered. Within minutes, the elevator doors opened. The company's chairman rushed across the lobby, followed by several executives who had clearly been alerted. Their faces were filled with nervous smiles. They approached the sheikh with hurried apologies, bowing slightly and welcoming him warmly. But Sheikh Khalid did not immediately respond. Instead, he finished his tea. Then he gently handed the empty cup back to Maria. And only then did he turn toward the executives. He greeted them politely. Yet something about the atmosphere had changed. Everyone in the lobby could feel it. The sheikh looked around the room slowly. His eyes passed over the reception desk, the nervous employees, the silent guards. Then finally, they rested on Maria, the woman who had offered him tea when no one else even offered respect. The chairman invited him upstairs to the executive floor. But before moving toward the elevators, Sheikh Khalid said something that would later become a story repeated throughout the entire company. He calmly explained that when he travels, he always observes how people treat strangers. Especially those who appear different, tired, or out of place. Because respect, he said, reveals the true character of a company more than any business presentation ever could. He said he had learned something important in the last 15 minutes. Not from the executives. Not from the reception desk, but from the cleaner who offered him tea. The lobby remained silent. Then Sheikh Khalid did something no one expected. He asked Maria to join them upstairs. At first, Maria thought she had misunderstood. But the sheikh insisted gently. He said the company meeting would be incomplete without the one person who had shown true hospitality. The elevator doors closed with Maria standing nervously beside some of the most powerful business executives in the country. Upstairs, the meeting lasted nearly 2 hours. Financial projections were discussed. Partnership terms were reviewed. But at the end of it all, Sheikh Khalid made one additional request before signing the agreement. Maria would be offered a new position within the company. Not as a cleaner, but as a guest relations supervisor. Because, as he explained, the person who understood kindness better than anyone else in the building should be the one welcoming visitors. The executives agreed immediately. And by the end of the week, Maria's life had completely changed. A better salary, a private office, and the respect she had quietly deserved for years. But perhaps the most powerful change happened in the lobby itself. The reception desk staff never forgot that day. Not because they nearly lost $1 billion deal, but because they were reminded of something far more valuable. That greatness doesn't always arrive in expensive suits or perfect English. Sometimes it walks in quietly, carrying a small leather bag, and waits patiently for someone kind enough to offer a simple cup of tea. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who believes kindness still matters, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that remind us of the power of compassion. And before this story ends, I have one special request for you. Comment the word kindness below if you believe even the smallest act of humanity can change someone's life forever. Because sometimes the most important person in the room is the one everyone else overlooks.